Hi, my name is Eunice Gonzo. I'm a clinical stroke industrial psychologist. Welcome back to the healing sessions with Eunice Gonzo. The last time we were speaking about fear. We are in fact talking about good fear. What we said in our last session, we said that fear is not always a bad thing. In fact, I instructed you to write down the different types of fear that you have. That way we could identify which is good fear and which is bad fear. So today is actually going to be centered around explaining what happened in the case of bad fear. Why are we doing this topic? We are doing this topic because most reason why people are stagnated, why people are failing, why people are not taking risk, why people are not engaging in activities that they are supposed to engage in is because they are paralyzed by fear. Now, my philosophy has always been that knowledge is the first step to cure or to understanding, and through this wisdom. We need to understand things, and to understand phenomena and understanding why we are where we are right now require us to acquire what? Knowledge. Knowledge is power. This channel is about understanding the power of the mind. But we cannot understand the power of the mind if we do not tackle certain aspect of our lives that has been keeping us stagnated and depressed or anxious for so long. So today we are going to look about the bad part of fear. Again, remember I said fear is whatever is happening in your life that makes you feel threatened. And also, I also describe fear as false evidence appearing to be real. Our last mind nugget was fear is not always a bad thing. We have good fear too. So now that we know which fear is good and which fear maybe might not be that good, we are now going to try to understand exactly which fear is not really good and what happened in this instance. So to explain what happens in the instance of bad fear, I'm going to go back to the limbic system. Now, the limbic system, as I have shown you in our last session, has to do with the part of the brain that controls your emotions, especially fear. Now, in the limbic system, already in our last session, I spoke about the amygdala, the pituitary gland, I spoke about the hypothalamus, and I also spoke about how it is that the cortisol hormone is released within your body that triggers your sympathetic nervous system, and certain aspects are triggered when it comes to the fight, flight, or freeze responses, which is the adrenaline rush. Now, again, I'm going to repeat that when it comes to fear, we have in our program have a natural response system when it comes to fear. And that natural response system is what we call the fight, flight, freeze responses. And in this case, what happens when we are talking about the adrenaline rush? The adrenaline rush, as we usually speak about it, actually come whenever we are threatened with a situation that our mind is looking at it that it can harm us. Meaning, when we have perceived a situation as threatening to our whole human being, meaning it can kill us. Our body has a natural response system, which we call the sympathetic nervous system, and that is what regulates whether are we going to fight what we are confronted with, or are we going to run away, which is the flight. In most cases, we talk about fight and flight. It's in very rare circumstances that we actually speak about the freeze. So today I'm also going to give you also give you knowledge about the freeze response, because the freeze response, we hardly speak about it. Most of us just know that we either fight or we run away, flight. But the freeze response in some cases actually causes more trauma than actually the fight and the flight responses. So, but I'll come to that. Now, let me just first explain the fight or flight responses. Whenever your body pick or perceived, now remember, it's mind, different types of mindset perceive different things as threatening, and threatening is what produces fear. Now, there are some aspects that most of us will react the same way. Innate fear. Remember, I spoke about that. And there are other aspects that are conditioned fear. Now, the conditioned fear can vary from person to person. Why? Because we do not perceive things the same way. So stress is according to the person who's experiencing it. And that's why even when I deal with my clients within session, some people would say that, but that problem that person has is not such a big problem compared to mine. Yes, but you have not perceived it as a problem. The other person has perceived it as a problem. Because we are different people, how we perceive situation varies. So we should not judge anyone for perceiving what you perceive as a little problem as a big problem. So in therapy, we don't deal with how big a problem is according to individuals, other individuals. We deal with a problem according to how do you perceive it. So, mind nugget, fear is according to how you perceive it to be, not according to how someone else perceives it to be. Again, remember, fear is according to how you perceive it to be, not according to what someone else perceives fear to be. So, as we are talking about this, forget what anyone has told you or what they think or whatever they have told you. Please put yourself according to who you are, because this program is about you, not about what anyone else thinks. It's about you. So I'm going to explain the fight and the flight responses. Now, last time I didn't really go into detail about it, but today I'm going to go into detail about it. Why? Because if we go into detail about it, it will start making you understand that some of these physical, emotional symptoms that you are feeling, they are because of the fight and flight responses. And it explains a lot of things in your life. Again, remember, knowledge is power. Okay, now, when the sympathetic nervous system is triggered, there are certain things that will start to happen in your life. What you'll find is that, right, most of the time, your heart rate will increase, okay? So as it increases, your blood pressure will also go up. Why is this happening in your body? It is happening because what is happening at that time when the body has perceived the threat in the environment, it is now pumping blood, which is oxygen and nutrients, to the major organs in your body. Understand this. The blood, why the blood pressure is increasing and your heart rate, like you feel like your heart is pumping very, you actually even sometimes feel it, like it's, your heart rate is very fast, is because your blood pressure has gone up because a lot more oxygenated blood is being pumped to your major organs as well as nutrients. You understand? So that is what is happening in your body. Because all this blood is being now centered to the main organs, what's going to happen when someone looks at you, either your face will appear flushed or pale. Why? Because most of the blood is being used it's being used for your major organs. The next thing that is going to happen is that your pupils will be dilated. Why are they dilated? So that you can have better vision. You are on alert. It means that you can see clearer in the environment. You are on the edge. Even within your body, you find that your muscles will be tense. Why are your muscles tense? It's because you are on the edge. You need to be alert. That will allow you to know where danger is coming from, and it will also allow you to move at a very fast pace. So what at times happens is that sometimes your bladder is triggered. Your bladder is triggered, and this is why at times when someone is in a state of high tension, either they can pee, like the bladder would go, or at times even the digestive system, because everything has been constricted. Some people will also let it go just because of intense fear. Because of this, there's another important aspect that people don't understand, especially people who have been in very traumatic situation. Like some people have either been raped, or they have been in accidents or different traumatic incidences. One of the main things that happens to them is that their memory is affected. They can hardly remember very important aspect of what has been happening during that time. Why? Because again, it's because the sympathetic nervous system has been triggered. Anything that is not important to the survival of the human being has been shut down. Now, also you find that the person becomes very tense and they are trembling. Now, to understand that is because the body is in a state of tension. Everything in your body is tense. Because the body is, must I fight or must I flee? So all these physical symptoms are going through your body. More important than anything, and this is why people do not understand the effect of stress. I have so many couples, even sitting in my therapy room, telling me that, you know what, right? I cannot even give. I'm unable to conceive, or it's like my child is not really growing as a child is supposed to grow, or I have a lot of digestive problems. You must understand that when you are in a high state of tension, all other aspect of the body that the mind have perceived as it's not essential right now, because we are speaking about the survival of the human being, has been stunted. It means it has been put on hold. Now guess what? Reproductive system is also one of those. It means when you are in a state of high tension, the body will not produce. You cannot become pregnant. Because in most cases, also that has been stunted. Most of you will also suffer from digestive issues. So all these are effect of serious high tension. Now, what is happening in the society right now? Although this sympathetic nervous system is supposed to be a good thing for us in the state of threats, what is happening right now is that we have started to view non-threatening situation as threatening. So what is happening? What is happening is very simple. You find that instead of, you find that situations like, you know that tomorrow you have to go to work. It should not be a threatening situation. It now start triggering the sympathetic nervous system. So your fight, flight, freeze responses are triggered. But this is non-threatening. So non-threatening situation has now been perceived as what? As threatening. Now, we are coming back to the mind nuggets, which is about what it is that you are perceiving. So now the problem with bad fear is when we are perceiving non-threatening situation as threatening. So everyday stressors these days are being perceived as threatening. Now, even going to go and give a public presentation becomes what? A threatening situation. Going to work becomes what? A threatening situation. Your child not performing at school become what? A threatening situation. You not getting a promotion at work becomes what? A threatening situation. You having bills to pay becomes what? A threatening situation. So we have turned normal situation into threatening situation. That is the reason why we have very high levels of anxiety levels that we are now experiencing in session. A lot of you are bogged down by anxiety. Remember, now with fear, fear is the threat, is when you are threatened. So fear is the present. Now anxiety become future. Those are your fears for the future. So now we are afraid of the bills of tomorrow. And that's why we will act today in the way we are acting right now. Do you understand where the problem is coming right now? The problem right now is because we have 10 non-threatening, which are your everyday anxiety, fears that you should be dealing with. Now you have started perceiving them as threatening, whilst you have the ability to overcome those. Now, unfortunately, with the brain, what is happening to your brain is that those non-threatening situations that you are now perceiving as threatening is triggering the fight, flight, and freeze responses. Now, it means the body now is on high state of those symptoms every day. That's why we have people suffering from hypertension, people suffering from digestive issues. And this is where we are now coming in to say that, right? You need to change that perception of perceiving non-threatening situation into threatening situation. So as we are talking right now, what must you do? I need you to sit down and look at how you are viewing your everyday problems. Are you looking at them as a threat or a non-threat? You need to now review that, because if this is where the problem is, that's the reason why you are suffering from anxiety. That's the reason why you have sleepless nights. That's the reason why you are paralyzed by phobias. Because you find that, right, something that is non-threatening, you have now turned it into a threatening situation. It's like a phobia, because phobia is irrational. It's an irrational fear, meaning you are afraid of something that will not kill you. But in your mind, you are perceiving it that it will kill you. So today, I really need you to re-examine what it is that you are afraid of. I really need you to look at this and to see how it is affecting you. Some of you are suffering from chest pains, constant chest pain, headaches. You aren't sleeping. You are paralyzed by fear. You cannot do anything in your life. In fact, you are afraid to engage in anything because of fear. But this fear is not a realistic fear. And that is what is making you sick today. So please re-examine what it is that you are afraid of. This here is me. I'm Eunice Gonzo. This is Healing Sessions with Eunice Gonzo. If this session has impacted you in any way or had added value to your life, please subscribe to my weekly channel so that you do not miss out any of these sessions. So I'm Eunice Gonzo. I will see you next time.